Hello everyone, this is Overmind, and welcome back to another StarCraft 2 replay cast. Today I have for you a game from the Bronze League, a Terran versus Protoss. And let's go ahead and introduce our players spawning up at the top left side of the map, which is going to be Deadwing for this game. We have our blue Terran player, it's going to be Willow. And spawning across, down on the bottom right side of the map, in red, we have our Protoss player, chrono boosting out those probes, we have Pelitos. Now, we see our players doing a lot of pretty normal stuff this early in the game. Not everything is quite optimal, because it is the Bronze League. We do see that Pelitos is choosing not to scout, which is something I would discourage. Bronze League players, you should definitely try scouting. It's pretty great, especially on a 4-player spawn map, which Deadwing happens to be. Now, over here we do have Willow scout, finding Pelitos so that he can be aggressive or simply know where his opponent is and know what's up. Looks like there is an expansion going down for Pelitos, however, Willow has expanded a good while ago and is starting to mine at that base, as well as Mule, which is going to be very good for him. Now, over here we do have a robotics facility finishing up for Pelitos, who's going to go ahead and get that observer out. Going to be quite good for scouting, so I do recommend the probe scout early. And then all of a sudden, Marines, and this is a terrible feeling. This is very hard to deal with. We do have the photon overcharge here, but the mothership core dies, and that's very, very sad. We have some additional stalkers joining us for this, and I think it's going to be a hold. The last Marine dies. Alright, so if you're Pelitos, that was a little scary, but we're going to rebuild the mothership core, because that was quite helpful to us. We're going to get back to the game. Now, Pelitos has the Colossi Den, and is researching that wonderful extended thermal lance upgrade, yes. But Willow has taken a good advantage of this. He's actually gone ahead and taken a third. He's getting his orbital command from that. He's got mules going down, so he's doing a good job of attacking and expanding. And if we're Pelitos, we do have a scout in his base from that observer we noted earlier, and I want to go ahead and say that in addition to the 3 barracks that are building, he's going to note that there are 7 existing barracks. So there's going to be a lot of Marines, and indeed, here they come. Now, Mass Marine is a pretty good thing to do early game. You definitely want to go ahead and get upgrades. You want to go ahead and tech up. However, this early, it's very scary. Right now, we don't quite have enough energy for a photon overcharge, which is not great. Just have to wait a few more seconds, though. We have some stalkers that are doing a decent amount of damage to our little tiny Marines here, who are all clustered around trying to get into the action. Almost able to do a photon overcharge. Don't lose the mothership core, Pelitos, no! The mothership core goes down, and we lose out on that photon overcharge a few seconds before it's available. Probes are pulled off the line. And now we're just waiting for our next warp in. We're waiting for that moment. Now I want to note for all you players out there that you can actually decrease the cooldown of your warp gate by chrono boosting. And right now we have pretty much full Nexus energy on this, so we can go ahead and chrono boost if we want to hurry that along. However, we do have our first Colossi out, and it's on the move command. No, not the move command. Alright, pull it back. Don't lose that Colossus. Pelitos, you need that Colossus. Alright, the stalkers are now closer, so they are distracting these Marines. And that's actually great, especially since they're on this choke point. And we hold again, but there are more Marines on the way, and Willow doing a very excellent thing. Here's going to go ahead and expand again. He's getting that economy up. He's producing additional barracks. These barracks, again, don't have the expos on them at all. They don't have the little tech labs. They don't have the little reactors. Nothing like that. But we do have many, many Marines coming out of them. And that Colossus in the back is actually doing a very important thing. Just to say, it is killing many of these Marines. Stalkers are trying to deny high ground vision, trying to distract the Marines since they are closer. Because he definitely needs that Colossus alive. It's very important. We have another wave. If I were Willow, I would probably recommend going ahead and just trying to group up a little bit better, because he has a few units at a time streaming across the map. and this Colossi is dangerously low on health. However, this Colossi has proven his worth as he has 38 kills already. And here we have 40, and a second Colossus has come about. Don't move command over there, Pelitos. You need those Colossi. You need them. And here we have a small army assembling itself. We have a bit of a chance to recover from this. Even though we are very far behind, we do have two very good units on the field. These two Colossi are going to go ahead and rake in the kills from this mass marine Terran. And at this point, our Terran player likely should go ahead and do things like get Marauders and, you know, get a factory and a starport and tech up to where he can have Vikings and medevacs and do all those good things. But right now, he's pretty set on Marines, it looks like, which is kind of unfortunate for him. Now, he's going to continue to stream these small numbers of units across the map, and they're going to continue to die. I want to go ahead and take a look at the state of his base, though, because it's actually really quite impressive. We have 4 additional barracks being constructed, as you can see in the production tab, but I want to switch over to the structures tab for a moment. Right now, he has 24 barracks and 4 orbital commands. So he can realistically make a lot of Marines all at once. You see that there are 25 producing right now. Looks like he's going to go ahead and group his Marines up a bit better. It's going to be quite good. It's unfortunate that they did not do a dance before they headed up the ramp, because I feel that would be helpful. Willow is now capped in his supply. He's at 200 of 200. However, we see these Colossi just, again, raking in the kills. These Marines need to focus down the Colossi. Marines, kill the Colossi. Marines! Marines! Okay. Okay, we just need to tech up, and we need to focus on the Colossi. There's only 2 we can kill. Now these stalkers up front are drawing the fire of the Marines. So if Willow isn't paying attention, he can't really focus on those Colossi. He has to actually tell his Marines to do that, and thus far he has not. Now, most Terran players would go ahead and again they would tech up. They would get other units, they would get Vespene gas, but Willow is not the sort of person to just go around willy-nilly getting Vespene gas. No. No. He's going to go ahead and he's going to make Marines. But the impressive thing about it is that he's actually going to go ahead and do a good job of expanding behind it. He has 3 expansions coming on down. He's building 6 additional barracks so that he can make sure that he keeps his production up. He does have a lot of money, so to be quite honest, he could probably make a few more. But here he comes. He needs to focus on the Colossi. Alright, more Marines, focus the Colossi. You can do it. Willow, focus the Colossi. Willow. 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 Alright, the Colossi are now alone. Oh, no, more stalkers. Alright, so the Marines are going to keep on attacking just whatever's up front, and that's going to be quite bad for them. I want to go ahead and note that this is our first Colossus. You can tell by how much hull damage he has there from the beginning, and he has 133 kills. So this is the benefit of getting higher tech units. I'm actually somewhat surprised that Pelitos hasn't built additional Colossi, given how well these ones are working out. We have 133 kills and 79 kills, so they're clearly worth the money. It looks like he just started another one right now, which is, you know, the curse of the caster. I want to go ahead and note the upgrades. In favor of our Protoss player, we have the extended thermal lance, which is very much come into play. We have warp rate, and we also have the shields upgrade, which is not one that you see too often. Willow marching more Marines on over. And it's just a massacre. There's so many Marine deaths right here. I mean, how do you even, you can't tell any of the corpses apart. It's deeply unfortunate in its own way. However, Willow is not the sort of player to give up. He's not just gonna quit. He knows that he can win this. He is a little bit confused, though. He is scouting around a little bit just to make sure that his opponent doesn't have a bunch of hidden bases or something like that. Make sure that there isn't a third laying around that he doesn't know about. And indeed there isn't. Right now, Pelitos really does need that third because he's pretty well mined out in his main. He just has this natural expansion mining, completely and totally saturated, so he's got that going for him. And here's another attack. Pelitos does respond to it. And the Marines are so dead. You need to focus the Colossi. Oh, you need to focus the Colossi. Willow, again, doing a very good job of spending his money. He got down to the double digits in money just a moment ago. He is going to continue attacking, however, he's going to expand again. He has 3 more barracks building. He's really committing himself to this. And that's impressive. I want to go ahead and note that I can't make too much fun of Willow for this, because, to be quite honest, having just a lot of something can be really helpful. I've lost to a lot of Zerg players who have just gone mass roach, and even if I've had a couple of Void Rays, which are a pretty strong counter to roaches, given that roaches can't shoot up, well, they still win if they have 1,000,000 of them. But because he's not getting his upgrades to increase his army's strength, because he doesn't have that tech lab to get the upgrades, because he doesn't have a mix of beefier units, and because he's fighting something that is a direct counter to the main force of his army, which is assembling in the middle of the map, well, he's not doing as well as he could. Alright, Willow. Come on in and focus down the Colossi. I know you don't have stim, it's okay, just focus fire the Colossi. Attack the Colossi. Oh, Pelitos. Pelitos is now up to 3 Colossi. I'm going to go ahead and focus on this one because he's at 200 kills. He's actually the first Colossi that was made. He's seen a lot of battle, but he's at 200 kills. Very much worth it. We have an expansion going down here for Pelitos. Very important that he holds this expansion. Unfortunately, Willow has not yet scouted it, which is kind of too bad for him. We do have more Marines streaming on in, and we have a little bit of move command stuff that did wind up making Pelitos take a bit more damage than he needed to, but really it was totally fine because he has now 4 Colossi. And I think really this is just a sign that I need to go a Colossi instead of High Templar more, because they're doing pretty great. More Marines streaming across the map. Looks like we had more expansions while I was talking, while we were watching those Marines die, and those are all, I mean, they're not saturated because you couldn't possibly have that many SCVs to saturate all of the bases that Willow currently has. And Willow going to go ahead and send a few SCVs to take some of this damage. And indeed, many SCVs are dying. And focus fire the Colossi. I did see a Colossi take a little bit of damage there. However, the Colossi count is high enough that at this point, it's actually really, really hard to do too much about them. Now, down here, we do have a big problem for Pelitos, and that is that the third is being attacked, and to be quite honest, he really can't afford that. He definitely wants to make sure that that third stays up, because he's completely mined out in main, as I have said before. Over here in the natural, we have a couple of SCVs attacking those probes, and they're just attacking whichever one is coming out of the Vespine Geyser at the moment. So he's going to lose a little bit of his gas income from that. His army does wander on over and kill those SCVs, though, because we can't have that. Here we have Willow moving in. Does he target fire the Nexus? He does indeed. And he... just kill something. Willow, you have so many units. Kill! He's so close to taking that Nexus down, too. He's so close to eliminating that base. He continues to move more units in. Here we have those 4 Colossi, all spaced out, all able to fire at the same time. Marines just completely roasted. We have Willow staying very, very close to max most of the game, and just losing units. I'm actually really curious as to what this looks like. So far, we've lost almost 38,000 resources for our Terran, and just shy of 15,000 for our Protoss player, so really a lot. Most of the resources have been lost by Willow, of course, because he has lost so many Marines. And here we have a target firing of the assimilator. Now, bear in mind that these Colossi do take a lot of gas. So killing a building that gives you gas is not a terrible idea. However, These 4 Colossi are a horrible menace to our Terran player, and they simply don't seem to have an answer for that just yet. You have additional Terran units streaming across the map. And they do have a bit of a better position right here. They had a little bit of a better concave. They did take out several of the stalkers, but it still isn't making a dent in these ranged war crimes. And here we have a 5th Colossus to join the battle. Excellent. And we have yet another expansion over here for Willow, which is going to be very good. At this point, I almost expect something like Offensive Planetary Fortress or something really silly and awesome like that. We do have another Colossus on the way from Pelitos. We have Willow actually building a whole bunch of additional command centers, so maybe we will see that, but it looks like he's building them out here in the middle of the map. A whole bunch of them. So yeah, we are going to see additional expansions going down. We have another big push from Willow. Focus fire of Colossus. Looks like he is. This one is losing health. He almost kills a Colossus. 2 of them are low on health. You've busted through the shields, Willow. That's okay. In the Structures tab, he currently has 62 barracks. I'm gonna say it again because it's kind of fun. In the Structures tab, he currently has 62 barracks. None of those barracks have any of the add-ons, but he can make 62 Marines at a time. And in fact, it appears that he's using many of them at a time. I saw him constructing 50 earlier, now it's down to 15 because some of those have finished. And he is moving those out across the map. Over here, we do see this base still has minerals, but it's getting a little low. It would be nice to see Pelitos take an expansion. He does have a few more minerals than maybe he should. He could certainly go ahead and afford to make more things at a time. Looks like we have a big push in from Willow to kill the assimilator. Willow, focus down that Colossus. Willow, I believe in you. Oh, and the anti-microbe killing so many Marines. And in all of that, we have lost an assimilator and some probes. 55 more Marines being constructed. Excellent. We have a couple additional expansions going down for Willow because it takes a lot of minerals to continuously make 20 to 50 Marines. It takes a lot. We have a lot of our Colossi, which, to be quite honest, have actually finally begun to take a bit of hull damage. However, the most damaged one is the one from earlier. He's... oh, is he gonna hit 300 kills? He's at 295. He's kind of hanging out in the back, though. He's a war veteran. He doesn't really have time for all of this kid stuff. We do have additional Colossi joining the mix. Every now and again, Pelitos will make another Colossus. Here we have a small part of the army breaking from the rest because of the AI. These Marines are not quite close enough to engage just yet. However, hopefully they will in a moment. Nope, not quite yet. Willow is waiting. He's biding his time. He has a lot more Marines that he could send. He has a lot of money, but he's not actually making very many Marines. I think he's just focusing on grouping up what he has. Focus down the one in front. Come on! And then the Stalkers. Now, during all of this, since Pelitos only had to make a few Colossi to really hold this off, he's been able to assemble some Stalkers. Willow saying, wonder what the resources lost looks like. Well, Willow, let's check it again. Thank you very much for the caster prompt. We have almost 60,000 resources lost by Willow, and we have around 17,000 lost by Pelitos. In the Units Lost tab, we have 1,000 and around 200 lost from Willow, and about 123 lost from Pelitos. So that is what the resources lost tab looks like. Thank you, Willow. Looks like we were going to construct additional barracks, however we do see a bit of a clump happening here. A bunch of these Marines are clumped up. A bunch of the buildings are being attacked at this point. Pelitos is deciding to tear on through to break out of his small fortress that he has because he needs the rest of the map. He wants to win. At this point, Willow is running out of funds. We see several of these barracks falling on down. Lots of Marines still coming out of the barracks. We do see a 50, 60, 62 additional Marines being produced, many of whom are finishing and marching off to their deaths. We have additional expansions from Willow, who has expanded to almost every position on the map. In fact, if I look at the Structures tab, there are 18 orbital commands on the map. However, several of them are over here in the middle. We have a glorious number of Colossi continuing to kill Marines. I'm actually going to open up the Resources Lost tab again. We are at 73,000 resources lost right now for our Terran player, and at 18,000 lost for our Protoss player. We have additional units continuing to march to their death. We have many buildings being destroyed, 75,000 resources lost. We have Marines marching in from all directions. We're up to 15,000 units lost from Willow, and 129 lost from Pelitos. We have units coming in from almost all sides at this point from Willow because he has almost every base, but the Colossi are able to shoot them all down as they come across the map. SCVs are bravely joining the fray, however, it is unfortunately not enough. We have a few mules coming to fight, however, mules cannot fight, which is, again, quite unfortunate. More Marines, even. We're gonna hit 16,000 total units lost, I bet. That's gonna happen. Oh, nope, there's the GG with the little happy face, just sly of 1,600 lost, but we're at 1,583 units lost for our Terran player, and over 80,000 resources lost. For our Protoss player, we've lost 130 units and 18,000 resources. So that's where this game stands. That was very silly, very crazy, very fun. If you have any fist-pumping wins or oh my god, what the heck happened there moments, go ahead and send them over to NoobCrafted@gmail.com, and maybe you'll see me cast one of your games. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my channel for more games, and I hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you on the ladder.